All right, hey everybody, welcome back. Don't forget, post 1, 2, or 3 videos every day. Hit the subscribe button down below. This one we are talking about what is the little slot next to the gear shift in my car. Every vehicle has one of these, and well, most of them, I shouldn't say every, most of them have one of these. Some of the electronic shifters you got to do by linkage underneath, but this is basically what it is. We're not going to read this whole article, but the little box resembling a tiny SD slot on the left side of your gear shifter is a compartment that houses a shift lock release button. In some cars it's buttons and it's not hidden in a compartment, but what this is basically so that you can get your vehicle, if your battery dies or your car doesn't start, you can still get your vehicle into neutral by bypassing the lockout buttons that are on there so that you can have it towed. You can push it. You can do things with it, whatever you need to do. So, and they say that right here, if your car battery dies, you need to move it to be serviced. You won't be able to shift into neutral or push the car without stepping on a brake. The shift lock release solves that issue and allows you to override the shift lock feature and shift your vehicle into the desired gear. Now, I actually did a video on this. When was this? I made this 4 months ago, and I highlighted the name here in pink for you, but it's called How to Find This Emergency Feature on Your Truck. You can see very few people actually watched it, only 1.4 views in 4 months, but apparently people must already know this stuff or don't care. But point is, how to find this emergency feature in your truck, and I go through in here and I show you all of the major truck brands and show you exactly where this lockout is. It's a great video and important to know. Most people don't, and like I said, but that's the way it goes. You know, some of the best videos that you can actually learn good stuff from, few people watch, and that's the reality of this one, but it is there for you. It is called How to Find the Emergency Feature on Your Truck. I'm probably not going to remember to link it down below for you, but if you type that into there, you will find it right there for you, but it shows you how these are, but every vehicle has them in a lockout situation somewhere. The exception being the Silverados and stuff like that because of their electronic transmission. I guess some of them don't in tow truck drivers, but they got a way that they just use a screwdriver and unhook the linkage underneath the trans, and they pull the cup off, unhook it, and they shift it manually that way. I guess you can do that too. I don't know why Chevy does not put that lockout in here, but I know tow truck drivers get really, really mad that they do not have it. But most truck brands do, and this video explains it all for you, and that's what this whole thing was about, showing you where this stuff is in your car and how it works. And like I said, check this out. It's called How to Find This Emergency Feature on Your Truck. If you go to my channel and you type in emergency feature, it's going to pop right up for you. Now, next one here. This one I found interesting from Motor Biscuit. 5 of the fastest depreciating trucks in 2025. Okay, now, we're going to break this one down a little bit. Okay, so he goes on. This is how they figure it out. This is after 60 months. Okay, 60 months of ownerships. Certain models lose a larger chunk of their money than the original value. Now, Ford F-150. Whoop, hang on. We don't want to do that. I want to go back to this. The Ford F-150 loses 37.9% of its original value after 5 years of ownership. 37.9%. Okay. Well, the Silverado loses less, loses a little bit more. 39, it sheds 39.2% of its value. And the Sierra, little in between there at 38.1 for its value. And then the Ram comes in at a hefty 44% of loss value after 5 years of ownership, and then the Titan comes in at 44.2. I don't know if the Titan's on there because this list says 2025, and the Titan is not made in 2025. But anyway, so we put this in, look into this thing here, and we dive into this. This is not how much of its value is left. Okay, this is how much it loses. So basically, if it's, let's say it's losing 40%, it's still worth 60% of it. But now people are probably going to look at this and be like, oh, thank God, my F-150 holds its value so good. Or, I told you Ram was the worst. I mean, they were losing 44% of their value. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I would never buy a Ram for that reason. Let's do the math on this for a second. Let's look at it for reality-wise. Let's just say that the MSRP on a vehicle that you bought, let's just say it was 60 grand. Okay, so we got a $60,000 truck, and you're going to lose, let's just call it in the middle, or let's say that, let's call it 40. Explain this. Okay, so how would I, Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that's a better way of doing it. Sorry, here's a quicker way to do all of them. So we know that 38% is the lowest, coming in right here at the F-150. 38% is the lowest, and 44 is the highest. So if we look at that, that's a difference of 6%. 6% different from the furthest to the highest. If we take an average truck price of $60,000 for these and we times it by 0.06, which is 6%, we come in at a difference of $3,600. Okay, so the reality is $3,600 difference between in lost money between a equally priced $60,000 F-150 and the farthest down the list equally priced Ram 1500. Okay, at the farthest and the highest, the best of these and worst of these on these, there's a $3,600 difference. Should you lose sleep over that? Is it going to make any difference? Does it matter at all? The real answer is no. Not even a little bit. These are average. So if you take care of your vehicle, whatever the case is, you can weigh that. But then people can also say, well, if I take care of the other one. All right, well, here's one that's undeniable. How about the fact that you can get way more off on a Ram than you can get on an F-150? So let's just say out of that $60,000, you get 5% off on an F-150, and you can get 12% off, which is not that hard on a Ram. So that's what, 7% difference? If we take $60,000 and we do times 0.7% on there, that's, hang on, $60,000, and we do times 0.07% for 7%, that's $4,200. So $4,200 minus the $3,600 loss, you're still actually making, you're making like $800 more on the Ram because you bought your depreciation up front. Does that make sense? You bought it up front. So even if you're losing this massive more amount on the Ram, you're actually still doing better than you did on the Ford because you got the better deal in the front of the buy. I've said it in many videos before. You buy your resale value up front. This is a perfect example of that because Ford will not give you the deals that Ram will give you. So Ram may lose its value a little bit faster, small amount, $3,000 difference over 5 years. But because of the fact that you can negotiate Ram better and they deal better, you actually end up with a more valuable vehicle, even though on this list, it's the worst compared to the Ford on this list being the best. The difference is still that the Ram is cheaper if you buy it right. That's the point we're getting at. So don't let these resale value things fool you. And again, here we go, 37.9. So basically 40% to 44%, or 38% to 44% over 6 months. I mean, there's so many things in here that do or don't make sense that you can look into. But anyway, there's a video for you, and let me know what you're thinking. Thanks for watching.